She made it.
Perfect.
Good evening. Time is now 6:30 p.m. I'm Chairman Tim Toth. I'd like to call the Select Board Business Meeting to order this 8th day of March 2023. All please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you for that. Before we begin, I'd like to state for the record, not only are we being live streamed on TCTV Cable Channel 8 and our YouTube web platform, but this evening's recordings will also be available for later viewing on our YouTube channel. This evening, we have the following board members, staff, and expected guests. The entire select board is here. Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Griffiths, Ms. Richards, Mr. Currie, myself. Town administrator, assistant town administrator, and administrative assistant are all here. We have Jackie Prime joining us remotely, Christine Sargeant joining us remotely. And as we get a little further into the proceedings tonight, Heather Viveros, and I apologize if I said it wrong, Heather, from the Give to Those Foundation. We'll be looking at that as an upcoming agenda item. And is anybody else here for another reason that I don't know of? Okay, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Bob Zosik, our DPW director, will be speaking to an agenda item as well. As always, the agenda has been set no later than 48 hours out as prescribed by law, publicly available at our official source for town information, templetonma.gov. Although I do have discretion as chairperson to add or remove from the agenda, it's been set to allow for time, personnel resources, and public awareness. I reserve the right to remove agenda items around to best fit our business and guests. Thank you. I don't anticipate a bunch of moves tonight. If it's your first time attending a select board meeting or any public meeting in the community, welcome. We're certainly glad that you were able to join us. Please be aware we'll do our best to address agenda items adequately. All public concerns with due concern and all comments with dignity and patience. Please do your best to show us the same respects. A few comments for the guests we have joining us remotely. The Zoom rules of the road. Use the video whenever possible. Although if you're waiting, you may find it's easier with the video off. First and last names are added because this is a matter of public record. Using the mute feature when not speaking, although TCTV can place any or all on mute, it's easier if you control your own button. If you wish to speak, raise your hand, use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or politely break in if you're calling in on the telephone. I don't believe we have any call-in participation this evening. And with all of the preamble and announcements, we will get into the meat and potatoes of our meeting. So agenda item 3, approval of minutes of prior meetings. Item A, minutes of 3/2/23 and 2/22/23.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rice,
I move to approve the minutes of February 2nd, 2023 as presented. I know. Yep.
Second.
do you have a motion duly made and seconded to approve the minutes from 2/2/23? Any discussions, team?
Mr. Chair, on this February 2nd, I was present at that meeting.
Yep.
We have since updated them. It was after the packet was in, so as it ended. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Do you need me to? You need me to amend it?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, I'll amend my motion to approve the minutes of 2/2/23 as amended. Who was the second?
I was the second.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
You reseconded.
I amend
Okay.
as well.
Okay, so the amended motion has been represented and reseconded. Any further discussions? Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that to our attention.
I did, so
We didn't
I
do the second.
I know, I've specifically done, so you're on 2/2 and the motion is only for 2/2.
Correct.
I'm, there's a reason why, because I have an amendment on the next one.
Okay.
So
Good.
everyone,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we will bring this to the vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Currie.
Yes.
I vote yes as well.
I know what your amendment is on the second one.
I have two.
I have one.
Okay,
Ah.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Vice,
I move to approve the minutes of 2/22/23 with the following amendments. Item 5C at the end, I would like just to add that the chair presented back to the legislative delegation accomplishments, challenges, and requests in the town of Templeton. And then item 5F, as in Foxtrot, just add a quick sentence at the end that said the board requested further information for follow-on meetings. That's my motion.
thank you.
You want to add Tim in there?
We can add it after you second it.
Second.
Thanks.
A motion made and seconded. Any further discussions, team?
So I was looking at 3B, maybe I'm wrong, but it said executive session minutes, blah, blah, blah. Currie moved to approve the executive session minutes of April 28th, 2021, June 9, August 25, September, and to be released to the public. Was there a vote on that?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
That'll be amended as well.
So that you gotta put the vote in, right?
Correct.
And then the only thing I would say is, and we elected Tim to meet with the Hampton Haven as well as the TA and the DPW. Mr. Sullivan.
Okay. So I can amend my amendment by saying board requested further information and ask that the chair lead that effort.
Appreciate it. Mike.
That'll be item 5F.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good catch, team.
Check you down.
Sweet.
Any further discussions? Second call, any further discussions? Hearing none, we'll bring this to a vote. Mr. Bennett.
Abstain.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Currie,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Thank you for that.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Vice,
I move to approve the executive session minutes of September 28th, 2022 and November 30th, 2022 presented and December 28th, 2022 as it was amended and for each to be released to the public.
Second.
do have a motion and a second to approve executive session minutes as presented, and as amended, and for each to be released to the public. Any further discussion, team? These were sent to us under separate cover. Second call, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll bring this to a vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths,
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Currie,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Thank you, team. Brings us up to item 4, citizen input. I don't believe we have any coming in from the audience.
Should I do that now as a citizen? Should I save it to come?
Save the-
Okay.
Okay, item 5, new business. Jackie, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to introduce Christine Sargeant. She is our new temporary activities coordinator at the senior center. Christine is a phenomenal volunteer. She's put in tons of time at the center working on various projects, and up until a few months ago, she was on the COA board. So we're thrilled to have her fill in until we can find a permanent person.
Familiar face, just moving the checkers around the board, so to speak. Welcome, Christine.
Thanks for stepping up.
Thank
And
you very
in.
much.
Anything you'd like to say, ma'am?
I mean, it's a very gratifying position over there. Like Jackie said, I've done a lot. I've been volunteering over there for about 3 years, and unfortunately, there was no activities coordinator. So they asked if I'd be willing to work over there in a more official capacity, and I said, sure, why not? So, but I do love it over there. It's a great place. It's a very happy place to be, honestly, it is. So thank you, Jackie.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
You're welcome to watch the rest of the proceedings, or if you have other things,
In the privacy of your.
in the privacy of your own home, absolutely. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night, ladies.
Up next, action item 5. There are no appointments, so action item 5C. Town property use permit. The Heroes Live Forever Memorial Road Race in memory of Templeton EMT Tracy Ferrazza.
Hi,
Hi, can you come up to the front, Heather? Just introduce
sure.
yourself, please.
yes.
Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing well. How are you?
How are
I'm doing very well. Always good. Always a blessed day. My name is Heather Baveris. I am the president and founder of the organization GiveToThose.org. What we do is we honor and remember our nation's fallen heroes and give respect, honor, tribute to those that continue to serve on our front lines, from the military to our first responders, and never forget to say their names. As you guys know, last year we did our first official Heroes Live Forever 5-miler in honor of Tracy, and it was a great success. A lot of the community got involved, as well as the surrounding communities, from people participating to businesses getting involved. One of the number one questions that I had been asked, or I'd seen on the application, was how does the money affect your community? Well, Give to Those, I always believe, as a president and founder, I always said that when you're doing something in memory of someone in a community, you should always push some funds back into that community, as well as continue your mission of what you do. What our mission is we go really beyond the borders of Massachusetts. We go all across the nation. And this year we were able to raise enough funds to be able to push back into the community for juniors to apply for a grant program that we're going to be launching this year. And we're going to start with Narragansett, the high school, since they were so generous of helping us and supporting us by allowing us to use the gymnasium and parking lot, that we were able to raise enough funds to do 6 grants at $500 a piece. Right now, we're coordinating all the questions that we feel the need to know about why someone would want to become go into being a first responder, or even in special needs, because Tracy also did special needs. So right now we're allocating that and putting everything together, allocating the funds and figuring out exactly what's going to Narragansett, and then anybody that's going into wants to go into helping children or adults with special needs. So that was one great thing. The other thing is our organization does a program called Plaques of Honor. We launched it last year on the 1st of January 2022. And we've had such great success that nationwide we've been able to raise enough funds for 385 plaques to go to Gold Star families, first responder families, and then those that go above and beyond who serve, who continue that service in their community. And I know I had briefly talked about this, but thanks to Tracy's 5K, we actually do have in my possession, and I really don't want to fully reveal it on camera, and this is only because the family doesn't know. But in here, these are custom built plaques by one guy who has a full-time job. Right now, like I said, we raise enough funds for 385 plaques from everything that we do, not just the 5K. So we allocated funds into these plaques so that families don't have to try to pay for these plaques, that we can actually present them. And so right here is a hero that you guys are probably very well aware of, who was killed in the line of duty. And we actually have a Purple Heart plaque in my possession. And thanks to Tracy's 5K, we allocated funds to pay for a Purple Heart plaque for Master Sergeant Kevin DuPont. So I know, and I made my promise. So it's in here, it's in this. They're all handmade by one guy, as I had mentioned. He has a full-time job. He's from Michigan and he takes great pride in making these. Each one is custom hand built by his own two hands. They are not made by a CNC machine. After I can show you guys it, but again, out of respects for the family, I don't want to show it on TV because they haven't obviously seen it, but that's something that we would like to coordinate, that the family is able to be present at the 5K so that we can present this as a community to Kevin DuPont's family, because I think it's very important that we continue to say their names and not just have their name on a wall, but continue to say it and let the families know beyond their finish line that we don't forget. And the thing is Kevin DuPont holds near and dear to my heart because I know exactly where he lays to rest at Bourne National Cemetery. And so when I had seen your bracelet last year, it just really touched my heart. But that was one of Tracy's family's things, was we want to honor one of the fallen from Templeton. And that's another thing that we want to also offer to you guys going forward, that this isn't only for the fallen, it's in respects to the fallen, but we also do it for our first responders. We were also able to, Reese here, who's a firefighter with the Temple. Well, you know, it's Explorer Temple, young explorer, right? But his father is a firefighter, and his father was a police officer and also served in the military. And so we were able to also allocate funds from that event to be able to present him with a plaque of honor. So it really does go beyond that. And it goes beyond that finish line of what we do. So when you ask yourself, well, if you're taken from our community, what are you putting back into it? Scholarships and honoring those who deserve to be honored. So that's why I come here today to ask you guys if you guys would approve us to do this once again. It pushed a lot of people to their core. We're gonna, keep pushing people because Tracy pushed people. She was just a go-getter. And we just want to keep saying her name and not just let it die down, but continue to say her name forward and let people know the great things that she was about. And she would be very honored to know that, in her name, we were making these plaques and giving out these scholarships. So that's all I have to say.
September 23rd.
Yes.
And the request is just for the school parking lot. Is that for us to decide?
The roads too and down.
Same route we did
Yep.
last year.
I was just reviewing the
Yeah.
school parking lot.
We put the
Is there any
form in.
coordination with the school that we need to do? Adam?
I am not quite sure. Have you contacted this? school?
You have, I was waiting, once we get approval, then you put the form in. I didn't want to take up a slot because you have to sign up on Narragansett School. You sign up, request a slot.
Right.
And then they get back to you, but I didn't want to put it in and
Right.
I like to do everything the right way. So wanted to make sure it gets approved and that there was honestly nothing else going on within the town that might be there, so make sure our date's approved or, if we had to ship it before I take a spot on them. So
That's the thing, Heather. I don't know. We don't have.
I'll contact
Yeah.
the school and make sure that they know
Okay.
about it and see if there's anything we need to do on our end.
So when, not if,
yeah,
when we approve it, we just have to make sure that it's in coordination, that it'll approve the event. But we just want to make sure that it's synchronized with what the school's property plans are. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Because they manage that. We don't tell them what to do with their parking lot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, all requirements from that.
Yep.
So we're,
Um,
and to waive it.
it said that there was a site plan attached. Holly,
Didn't put it in there, did I?
you did not. Do you have it there? So we can pass it through?
Yeah, we did attach that.
Site plan
Same route
attached,
last
yes.
year.
It was just a map, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to understand what the footprint was. So if they were gonna give a, plan, it's a kickoff. Do you have tents or anything, or is it just basically a staging area? I wasn't there for last year, so.
So it's they opened up the gym for us. So
Okay.
all of our stuff was pretty much inside except our start and finish. The only thing that we really found, Reese, I would say, was that you had the yard sale thing going on.
Okay.
And some of the
understand
kids were
some of that.
jumping in
Okay.
front of the cars that were trying to park where we were told to park. They would kind of jump in front and be like, oh, the yard sale, and and they were excited. It is what it is. Their kids are excited. They want to sell some stuff. But, so we ended up, I think we ended up not doing the start finish line just to keep.
So what we did was the start finish line was supposed to be at the edge of Baltimore Road on the right side of the building. We ended
Mhm.
up not using that as any, display. We did step off from there for about 30 seconds. We were held up right there and then we stepped off, but everything was really based in the right-hand gymnasium of the high school.
Okay. I understand my confusion is because since that map, because this is the road race and it's on the roads, that's the purpose for this request. But I would not know that because the site map is not here and it's just mentioning the school.
I do
So-
have the map if you'd like to take a look.
I would love to look at it.
Thank you. I'm searching through my email
Yeah.
trying to find it.
I got this and I can email it to you.
Holly. also
I
the-
understand, I understand what you were talking about.
The top page says 2022 instead of 2023.
Yeah.
The date of the event,
Yep.
is it still, it's a Saturday?
Yeah, it's a 23rd, 2023, but we emailed over the new one.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dated wrong.
The numbers are checkpoints.
No, I
The
was.
water
I-
Mile marker, that's miles.
Oh, that's your mile.
Yep.
marks, Okay. And if the roads aren't listed on there, I can give you the rundown. Oh, no. You got it.
I got it.
I'm familiar with
Small town, we know all the roads.
Yeah,
it. But I mean,
But thank you for
it's
that.
based out of the school, so I just want to, it's, we have other 5Ks that go out of there, so just, again, we want to make sure for the roads that it winds up getting sent to the public safety
Okay.
team.
So what I remember from last year was with the school.
Thank you,
it was,
Reese.
Just to reserve the parking lot, we got it approved here, and when, I think it was Holly that had us email the school, and there was a form we filled out through a second-hand website from the school to reserve the slot.
Mhm.
She did that right after, so I think that was what she had to do for that, so I
Yep.
can email, I think they were in the admin office. of the
Yep.
school.
School supervisor.
Yes.
yeah, so Sue, you had, like, we did it. But in order to get the slot, I've always assumed, forgive me, that you have to get approved before you take a slot from any school, but that could just be me. I don't know. I don't remember if we did it
I thought
prior
that
to,
you
or I
usually
thought
put
we
that
did it
after.
after, because I wanted to make sure we got the date approved before doing.
By
so.
process and everything, I totally understand what you're saying. We just want to make sure that this is, that what we proved tonight is like complete. So what I would recommend, Mr. Chair, is I would move to approve a amended permit to include the site map for the Heroes Live Forever Memorial Race in memory of Templeton EMT Tracy Ferrazza, pending all requirements are met, and to waive the fees.
And I would second that. We do need it.
And the date is gonna be amended.
Yep, the whole thing will get amended. It'll get the dates changed. It'll get the site map in there. So we wind up, when we forward this to the public safety team, that they've got a complete,
Yeah,
Packet.
if that makes
All our
sense.
No, I
ducks are
get
in a
that.
row.
huh?
All our ducks are in a row.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Otherwise, can't wait.
Any
Is there an
further-
online registration for it?
I can.
There will be. Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you guys wanna, we'll coordinate with you guys about Kevin's
Please,
family.
because
So,
that's a pretty big deal.
yeah,
Yep.
well, that was,
Lisa, I mean, to have Lisa up, that would be amazing.
yeah, and that's, and then whether it's all of you or one of you, or then you'll be able to also see exactly like where some of this stuff goes, where, and then even with the grants, I've always believed when you're doing something in a community, you want to also give back to that community, whatever nonprofit you're with, because anyone could take money and just say, thank you very much, have a nice day. But it's very important to also inspire that community and inspire the next generation. And that's why we want to do the scholarship. That was something that was very near and dear to Tracy's mom. And even I know if Tracy was here and we were doing it in memory of someone else in this community, she'd agree with the same thing, is like, this is what I would love to do. And so now it's just, coordinating those pieces with the schools and getting that next year's date. But I do apologize. I believe I may have emailed you the newest application, because I also noticed that it was 2022. So I'll re-forward that email to you though, just so to make sure that you do have that. And as far as the map, I can get that to you as soon as I get in front of my computer. I have like all of that. So
Yeah,
I
it's-
apologize.
There are actually a variety of different 5Ks. I mean, the windmill 5K goes out of there as well, and that has a different route. So it's just, I think it's important for the public safety team to know that it's, replicating what you used last year.
Yeah.
Where will the plaque go once it's presented?
So the family takes
Unveiled.
it.
Okay, the family takes it. Okay.
And then if,
So the opportunity to get pictures will be right then and there.
yeah,
Okay.
it's really also, you guys could have the family coming. It's honestly, it's up to you guys of how someone could pick it up at the,
You made it happen. I mean, we'll support you. We just,
Yeah.
keep us in the loop.
yeah, no, I definitely will. And I know how much, it means to you and to all of you guys.
So, yeah. Just
So-
don't say too much. I don't want to break down on camera.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. And I'll probably keep it then a secret for all of you. So you have to come
Yes,
out and see.
Please, I would appreciate that.
But again, it's one of those things where, I know how much Kevin touched people's lives in this community and beyond. So it's like, I think it'd be a very special thing for you guys to be there, and Michael, you yourself can actually hand it off to the family. So
All right, stop.
you got it. Now I'm challenging
I
you.
don't-
You have to be there.
Time to prepare for that.
So whatever date it ends up
You have
being,
time to prepare.
I would like, it would be nice to see you guys, even if you come out that finish, we let you know, roughly what time people got finished last year. I'd have to look at the timestamp of that, but it'd be nice to have you guys involved. And Michael, I'm calling you now
Okay.
out, that
Okay,
you're gonna be the one to actually hand it off to the family.
yes, ma'am.
Been wearing his bracelet a long time, so.
Okay.
Right?
I have. Yep.
So whatever date, I'll get you guys everything that you guys need. I do apologize for that. I thought I did resend it because
Don't worry about
I
it.
think should
yeah.
send
Like we
all.
said.
and the map's the same one from last year, so I'll get that over to you as soon as I'm in front of my computer. You'll probably be asleep because I don't sleep, so. Yeah, you'll get an email from me at like 1 a.m. So, yeah, he does, yeah.
You can't send any of those to Adam. He won't open.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Adam. Don't worry.
I tried.
Yeah, 1 a.m. too.
He won't open.
I'm always on the go. That's why.
I was gonna say, do you ever stop? Because I see your push-up challenge post every now and then.
Yeah, no.
Days you
Go,
up
go,
to
go.
now?
Oh geez, over 2,300 and something now. I 3,000. I don't even, I lose count too.
It's a lot, yep. Any further discussions? Steve?
A day?
Every day I've been
Every day.
doing them. That's how long.
Continuous
Oh.
and consecutive. Yep.
Yeah.
Second call, any discussions, team? Hearing none, we will bring this to the vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Richard,
Yes,
Mr. Currie.
100% yes.
I vote yes as well. As a former co-worker with Tracy, one of my favorite partners to work with, she is dearly missed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And next time I'll be more organized. It's
all good.
I was
You're
very
very organized.
organized last time. I thought I already know. Young guns,
I'll send you the
Yeah.
information for the website and all the Facebook pages. Like, so you can
Okay.
take a look at everything.
That'll be perfect. And I'll
All
share
right.
it with the team.
So I'm not gonna let you guys see this,
No, please.
all right?
We got a busy night.
And I thank you guys always for your time and really welcoming in this community. And I just want to see this continue to grow in Tracy's memory, but also being able to honor these fallen nations heroes and stuff. So I'd like to be able to not have to wait once a year, but after the race, really get in contact with you guys and maybe coordinate a little more with the scholarship stuff and kind of get you guys more involved with that as well. And I'm sure Tracy's mom would agree with that, getting you guys more involved. So I appreciate your time and thank you so much.
Great.
of course. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for
Thank you
everything your
for everything you
organization
do.
does.
Thank you. You want me to keep saying? What you want me to say? Am I saying?
Are we good?
Yeah.
Don't need us? All right.
You're welcome to stay, but
Thank
we
you all for
understand. Thank
coming.
you all for coming.
Thank you.
Up next, item five
Stay
D.
safe.
When you can. Away when you can.
Item five D, action regarding opening the Citizen of the Year nominations.
Mr. Chair, I would move to open the nominations for the 2023 Citizen of the Year Award and to close nominations on Wednesday, April 5th, 2023 at 4:30 PM.
Second that motion.
Outstanding. Mr. Lowenthal, any words of wisdom on this?
Once the board approves it, what we'll do is we'll post it up on the webpage with the form that can be filled out. So they have till that deadline. I believe the motion will be in April 5th, 2023 at like 4:30 PM. So please, if there's anybody in town that you feel is a great candidate, citizen, or I should say a great citizen that you want to recommend for Citizen of the Year, please do so. I know we have a lot of good folks in town. A couple of the department heads already spoken to me about some people that volunteer. So I think this is a great way to recognize them at our annual town meeting and present them with the plaque. And then we also have the plaque up in the hall with all the names and when we started a couple of years ago. So I think it's something we could all be proud of.
It's lonely right now. It needs more.
It does.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while to fill all those.
But it's nice to have the perpetual plaque as well.
Yes.
Any discussions, team? Second call, any discussions? Hearing none, we'll bring this to a vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Currie.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Thank you, team. Up next. The long anticipated and awaited. Update for the FY 22 budget and the draft warrants. Kick this over to Mr. Lowenthal.
On this one, thanks, Julie. So you probably, when you went to the office, you see that the budget books are already, we're starting to put those together.
Filling up.
Yep, I believe this, so once we get the final numbers from the schools, we'll be able to then take those and start putting all the information in. So I'm hopeful that we could get it done March 15th. Worst case, it'd be March 18th. And when I say March 15th, that's when we have the schools coming in for their budget hearings. That way you'll receive your budget books when the advisory committee's here that evening. And that will give you some time, at least a few days to review it before that Saturday when all the town departments come in for their budget reviews as well. In your budget book, and you'll have all your budget books. Then in your packet, you see here, we received our preliminary fiscal year 2024 preliminary cherry sheet estimates. And I was a little bit more optimistic than what we received, but we will have our budget either on the 15th. I'm really planning on trying to get all those budget books completed by the 15th. So that's that for the fiscal year 24 budget. Any questions on the budget or?
Just one, when do you plan on putting the budget online?
Either that Thursday after I release it on that Wednesday, because that would be what the plan is. So you would get the book on the Wednesday evening. Thursday, we would try to get it uploaded onto the webpage on our, where we usually put them for the town meetings.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a new governor. It's you get that extra time, so it is what it is. So
Adam, is it correct? The veterans benefits? Is that good?
I looked at that. I would attribute that to the turnover in the position we've had. We have by the $30,000 drop.
I believe that's a reflection in what's submitted for reimbursement.
Yeah, that's the
And
75%
When that goes
number.
down, they figure either vets passed away, left out, et cetera, your costs have gone down. So that's why that position and all that paperwork getting sent in is really important.
Does the veterans account still have the same flexibility as snow and ice?
You can't deficit spend with that
I thought we had addressed that.
The only account you're allowed to deficit spend in is the snow and ice account. Generally, if we get close at the end of the fiscal year with the veterans benefit other account, we either, I think years past, we've transferred some money.
Okay.
Supplemental
Supplemental
appropriation.
I understand what you're saying. Yep.
That's how we've handled it if we need additional
Yep.
in that account.
Good to know.
Anything else for the budget?
I know there's still some discussions being made at the state level of a secondary release of numbers, but nothing has really trickled out other than they're looking hard at it. And obviously, we don't have the info yet from the school, so they're placeholders on the draft, but that's completely understandable at this point. But we are getting close.
That's a good point to add, because certainly if the Senate increases, we could end up with more revenue.
Yep.
So that's a good note to take as well.
DLS had kind of telegraphed that at the MMA conference when I went to the financing section. But the governor and the lieutenant governor weren't there to confirm or deny. So we all kind of left there going, oh, they're dangling the carrot. Okay.
So if we're good with the budget, I can move to the draft warrant.
Yep.
You want me to just go through this article by article or just go through the article? I mean, it's all posted in the packet. So anybody who's interested in reviewing it, they could go on to our My Town Government or the webpage.
If people have questions, I mean, some of these
are very straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah.
want to do it by exception.
I think so.
Or I could just do Article 1, payment of late bills, and then and I don't have to read each one unless there's a question. Is that fine?
I don't have any questions. at the moment.
Okay, Article 1, payment of late bills. If you have a question, just let me know. Article 2, fiscal year 2023 operating budget amendments.
That's to supplement this year's operating.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Current fiscal year.
Yep.
Article 3, snow and ice deficit.
A moving target.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting part about this, because we reserve so much. So basically, you could do one or two, you could do it this way, or let's say we have money in some of the accounts, we could transfer at the end of the year with the advisory committee. So just want the board, and that's another option as well. Article 4, amend community services revolving fund. This is due to the special legislation. I've spoke with Jackie Prime as well. But the community services fund, what we're going to do is just strike that and put a parks and recreation fund.
Copy.
Consent agenda. I think the biggest change here is if they approve the article before, Parks and Recreation Fund would have 60,000 their spending limit, annual spending limit. Any questions there?
Adam, what year's report? Under A.
Yeah, it has 2022 town report.
That's the year that we're doing,
Are we?
2022.
I get messed up sometimes, fiscal and calendar. Yep.
I could double check if we want to put fiscal year there or 2022.
No, I'm good.
I'll
But
double
no,
check that
it's good.
before it gets finalized.
My head's too much in the budget, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Article 6, amend the bylaws regarding Recreation Commission. A couple of you approached me about this. We had some really outdated language that we needed to update here. So since we had that special legislation, basically our bylaw would reference the chapter 311 of the Acts of 2022. Article 7, amend the bylaws regarding advisory committee. And we discussed that at a meeting, previous meeting. Article 8, amend cemetery regulations. This would, town meeting would allow them to set the fees. This would give them the authority to do that. Article 9, funding of community preservation accounts. This was submitted to us by the Community Preservation Committee. I just want to note too, because remember, you probably remember at the fall town meeting, we had all the CPA articles in one, but the chair and I spoke, and it seemed like it caused some confusion, or some people were wanting to talk about one, but they were all together. So what we decided to do, and if the board's favorable to this as well, is separate each one so the merit of each project gets decided on individually. So Article 10, CPA funding for Baptist Common Cemetery access. This is another one from submitted from the Community Preservation Committee. Article 11, CPA funding for Dwelly Farm ongoing restoration. Another one from the Community Preservation Committee. Article 12, CPA funding for Grange Hall ADA bathrooms. This was another one submitted by the Community Preservation Committee. Article 13, CPA funding for Town Hall cupola preservation restoration. And this was submitted by the Community Preservation Committee as well. And their last one here is Article 14, CPA funding for resurfacing Gilman Way tennis courts, fencing replacement, submitted by Community Preservation Committee. Article 15 was a request from the Board of Assessors for the property valuation account for $22,500. Article 16, fiscal year 2024 sewer department operating budget. This one that we're looking at $1,440,723 for their budget. This was submitted by the Sewer Commission and the superintendent. Article 17, fiscal year 2024 cable department operating budget. You'll see here $222,300. Article 18, this is to set the salaries of elected town officials. You probably remember at the last annual town meeting, we had these separated by OPEX, enterprise, and light. So what we did is we just took all of them and put them together. There wasn't much debate. I think the only debate was to really increase the stipend and that past town meeting. So we just put these two together. So if town meeting wants to adjust them, they could certainly make that within this article that's here. Any questions about any of the elected officials here and their stipends? Or the only new one you'll see is the moderator. That was a request of the town clerk for a few years.
It's
And
good to see that there.
and I was like, you know what's $500, $250 a town meeting. The moderator that's a tough job. But you probably all remember John Henshaw did it that one year. It can be tough.
It can be, yeah.
So outside of that, all the other ones were on the warrant last year. And then the town clerk, you'll see an increase there as well. Because she is elected. Anything else for this one?
Yeah, I feel comfortable going forward with the putting this in the select board, Article 18, because the town previously requested or otherwise, I thought about offering to the rest of the board if we thought we would, potentially reduce that number. Have a conversation about it, but if that's what town meeting decided on, I'm comfortable continuing with that amount. I mean, if they thought we were doing a crappy job, then like they did last year and amended it on the town hall floor, then they can do that. But this is the will of the people right now.
That's my mindset as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my mindset. It's the will of people on this. It's a long time coming.
Mhm. No other questions?
Okay. Moving on to Article 19, funding for ambulance department operations. This is for $534,500 for the ambulance. The fire chief will explain this at our budget hearing. So when you get your book, you'll see that in a separate section like we did. Since we took it out before So the fire chief will be ready for questions
Yep.
on that. Article
Sure.
20.
Adam, if you just, I know this is a draft copy, you just watch those.
I know what you're gonna say.
I want to
highlighted.
Then the orphan.
On the final, I'll try to get those pushed
Yep.
down. So
I wouldn't be Mike Currie if I didn't tell you.
I knew you were gonna say it too. I tried. I was gonna push it down, but I said, you know,
You
just
caught me. You should have got me.
MLA format
I
versus
know.
APA format because you keep the spacing. you know.
Article 20, fiscal year 2024, general fund operating budget. You don't have a number there yet. But we will Saturday. Actually, this Wednesday, I should have that updated. Article 21, the police vehicle purchase. I think this was a discussion before, because of the meals tax that goes in. Instead of us doing it like we did before through free cash, this will just go into the fiscal year 24 tax levy, other general revenues. That's how we'll handle the vehicle for fiscal year 24. Article 22, fiscal year 2024 capital budget rolling stock and improvements is for this recommended by the capital committee. It's for the DPW building grounds, a truck swap loader of $180,268. That's with the 10% contingency in that one.
Denied.
Article 23, fiscal year 2024 capital funded through to CapEx. This was a recommendation that we use. I believe their number was a little bit lower for the CapEx, but based upon the contingencies, we have here.
Yep. I remember
DPW.
the discussion.
Yeah, these were all recommended from capital. DPW highway software, work orders and asset management, 40,942. DPW building and grounds mower zero turn, 16,060, and then the parks and rec water reel device for irrigation of 12,239, coming to a total of 69,241. Article 24, fiscal year 2024 special articles. You have here, because these are all under 10,000, DPW highway street sign replacement, 7,500. DPW highway community sand pile shed, 4,500. And then
Good job,
town hall building and grounds electrical panels for 6,930.
Can we, I only want to get the shed if we can mark it like Bennett's shed.
I already got the blocks for it.
All right. I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't mean to make fun. That's
My
that's a
name
that's a
on there.
good
You
thing.
Put my name on there, I'll paint over it.
Oh, Jeff.
The way you live.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people
I'll
ask
stop
me
by for
questions about
coffee.
that sand over there.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, could town residents use that? Yeah, you could use it. But I think by having the shed over it, when it snows, it'll be easier for people to access and have access to instead of trying to get through the snow. So I think that's a good thing. 18,930 for a total of those three special articles. Article 25, this is authorized lease of a tanker for the fire department. This was another recommended from the capital committee. The reason why I was supportive of this is because we have the engine lease falling off. So not this fiscal year, but what's going to happen, this 97,790, excuse me, would be coming out of free cash for fiscal year 24. The engine lease would fall off, and then this would essentially take the spot of the engine lease. So it's basically taking a spot of another lease into the operating budget in the out years after the first year. So it's not like you're gonna be paying two leases at once, is my point, in your operating budget. And I think I believe, not sure if it was Tim or Mike that mentioned that this also could impact, by us doing this, it could help our insurance as well in the town for residents. So not only that, but providing a critical service. Okay. Article 26, this is Monty Tech's assessment. Once I receive those final numbers, I will plug that in. Article 27 is the Narragansett Regional School District. Once I receive those numbers, I will plug it in. And Article 28 is the amending the Narragansett Regional School District Agreement.
Finally got it onto a warrant. It's been a long time coming.
It has. And the chair and I spoke to, so we're planning on inviting, for this at our next meeting to have Attorney Brewer here as well.
Okay.
So Attorney Brewer, who was providing support with Tim, and when Carter was still a consultant with us, they worked with the whole RAAC. But what happened was they proposed what they had, and then DESI has made some changes to that. So I believe at our next meeting, we'll go through that. Anybody has questions, Attorney Brewer will be here. So that's where we're at, but the school committee did send it off to us. And for place on the warrant, what we do now that it's on the warrant, obviously town meeting could make amendments, further amendments as well. So that's that for the proposed regional school district agreement. Then Article 29, I think a lot of people are gonna be really happy and attend the meeting for this one, is to accept layout of Laurel View Road as town way. I know we talked about this for quite a bit, and
Yep.
so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure we'll get quite a few folks from the Laurel View area showing up to town meeting
I would hope so.
for that one. Just based on the attendance at our meetings when we were discussing it. Yes. Any questions on that? And then the last three, Article 30, 31, 32, all deal with the opiate stabilization fund that we're looking at creating and then dedicating any receipts we receive into that account. Those funds are dedicated for opiate purposes, so it makes sense to put it into an opiate stabilization account fund. And that is your draft warrant thus far.
Chair, I have a question. So accepting Article 31 or accepting the fourth paragraph of Chapter 40, Section B. It's being placed on the warrant as necessary articles to join with the intent of Article 30 and 32. How does it affect other stabilization accounts? It's not like that Chapter 40, Section B speaks to opioid or specific. It says if you're going to create stabilization accounts and you accept this fourth paragraph, then here's the way that you're going to do it, not less than 25, or the word that's not here that is actually on the Mass General Law is may.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically a discretionary allowance to be able to take care of Article 30 and 32.
That's how when town council and I were discussing this, because remember we were discussing this with Rep Slotnick too.
Yep.
Of how could we get this where we could, because we're not structured like a city, so
Okay.
it's not like a city council. So basically these all go together in order to make
Yeah.
it work, and they require a 2/3 vote too. So
I
they
saw
wouldn't,
that.
it wouldn't affect any of our other stabilization accounts if that's your concern.
That was my question. I'm sorry to put you on the spot for a legal question. I just wanted to know, as I read through it, it's not specific to what we're asking for in 30 and 32. It just mentions stabilization accounts. So if we accept that, does that then affect other stabilization accounts where you could say, I want to accept 25% or all of a receipt, like another,
I know what you're saying. What I'm gonna do, I'm pretty sure it doesn't impact them, but I will follow up
Okay.
with town council to be sure.
Yep.
But my belief is it won't impact the other stabilization accounts.
Okay, that's the only question I had on those.
And, as a non-entity unit, population 35,000 or less is where we get into some of the dicey language in these laws, but there is also, they're telegraphing again, since we had the meeting with Rep Slotnick, there are other funds that the state is unlocking and starting to push out. So it makes perfect sense to
Yeah.
have somewhere to put them with a dedicated spend plan. So-
These are the discussions
Yeah.
that, because at town meeting, you're gonna get questions
yeah.
like that. And if we talk through them now, we'll all be, oh, I got this one, because we'll all understand.
Yeah.
And the reason why we were looking at this is because right now, basically, we're receiving these funds coming in, but they're kind of just going to the general fund. So we want to take those funds, we're keeping track of all of them.
Yep.
So we could get them and just put them all into the stabilization account. It keeps it for accounting purposes alone.
Fence them for the intended purpose. That's
Correct.
how I understand the spirit and intent of what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely. That's the goal. And that is your warrant. And we have one more coming as well. The sewer commission got it to me. Well, Jeff Aldrich sent it off too, that they're going to be looking for a supplemental appropriation of $40,000 for the sewers budget. So that will be in your the latest warrant. So you're up to 33 articles already, and we did not receive any citizens petitions.
Yeah, and I'm still working on the sign. You know, I know we
Yes.
talked about that. So I was really trying to get a bylaw together for signs. I am working on it. It was something I told Jeff I was gonna work on, months ago. I do get stuff done. I just haven't been able to allocate the time necessary to where I was comfortable bringing it to you guys. But I am working on that. If I don't get it, well, I don't even want to say that. I hope to have it to you.
It'll come at just the right time. I'm
I hope
sure.
so.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Moving on, action item 5F regarding donations to the senior center.
They just keep coming in.
They do just keep coming in.
Mr. Chair, I move
Thank
to
you.
accept the donations for the senior center as presented.
Second,
A motion made and seconded. Any discussions? Second call, any discussions?
Just thank you to Robert and Patricia Gale, Sheila R. Talman, and Carol Blanchard.
Yep.
And there's another donation in memory of Leona DeGrace.
And one last call, any further discussions? Hearing none, we'll bring this to the vote. Mr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes,
Ms. Richard,
yes,
Mr. Currie,
Yes,
I vote yes as well. And again, a heartfelt thank you to the people who are making these donations, especially the donation in the memory of, but the outpouring of support to the senior center is unbelievable and absolutely welcomed.
and you heard
So
Sheila.
thank you.
Sheila said it's a happy place.
Yep.
Nice to hear.
Always a good thing.
If I could also note too, we'll have our pre-construction conference Monday. It's Monday coming up for the senior center roof. So we'll be seeing that starting in the near future.
Very good. Moving along, action item 5G. Mass DOT MOU for static signs.
How fun was this report, Bob? Boy,
What's that?
how fun was this?
It's detailed.
So, as you have the report in front of you, this has been going on for I think over close to a year, back and forth, and the state finally came out and purchased or given each town and cities sign. You had a choice of trailer or a post fixed sign. This is the same sign the police department's already using on a trailer. So we opted to go with the post fixed signs, and they actually picked the road or designate the road of choice from a study they've done. So the roads they picked were Dudley Road and Berry Road. We did receive shipment of the sign about a month and a half ago. I just got to get together with Chief Bennett to go through Dudley and Berry Road to see where the most reasonable spot to put it is. Once we designate the spot, and the weather gets better, the TPW will be installing the foundation and erecting the sign. And then Chief Bennett and his team will be taking over as money and get it fired up and setting the settings and following back with the state on the reports that you have to generate, so. He's doing it already with the trailers. You can go in and set the speeds that you wanna monitor. So the police department will be doing all of that. So hopefully, come early spring, we'll have it up and the chief will do his startup with the state and it should make a difference. I have an idea where I would like it, but definitely want Chief Bennett's opinion as well.
This came in front of the board. You probably remember with the Mass DOT for this whole study of Dudley and Berry Road. So they sent consultants out there. The town didn't have to pay anything. They covered everything and they made this whole report and this is basically I can't enter into the MOU for the static signs unless the board signs
Okay.
off.
We're getting 32 total required. They have optional, they have required, they have recommended, but we have 32 required. I actually liked reading this report. I had to look up ball bank and curvy linear and one MU, whatever, MUTCD, all that stuff. And it's interesting how they factor in safety for people going off the road, even guardrail height and the change in guardrail, those wire ones aren't effective anymore. So, they really care about keeping people safe on the road. And then Bob gets to put it all in with his crew. We're giving you the stuff, but you got to put it in and you got to put it in the way we want. I laugh my rear end off because they have instructions on how to put them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that follows the Uniform Traffic Code.
Yeah.
Which is a federal document.
So you can't go wrong.
Above, this is just the static signs. This isn't the feedback like the one down on as we cross right at the Gardner line going down Patriots Road to Broadway.
I'm not familiar with that one, Tim, but
There's a speed limit sign and
Yeah.
literally like 2 feet in front of it on the Gardner side, your faces when you're coming toward East Templeton Center
Yeah.
here. And it pulses and tells you what your speed is. I've never figured out, is that actually in Gardner or is it in our town? Because the line is right there.
But it does look good having it because you see the state sign for Templeton right around that same. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So it.
Where's
really-
exactly is the line?
yeah, it's on a single post, so
I believe it is. but-
set it off far enough so it won't get damaged through the winter operations and hopefully it'll make a difference and safen up the roadway.
The only other question I came up with, I was looking through the documentation that was included, and this goes back
1983.
Yeah.
1983. If you read down on 101 eastbound, I'm confused where the beginning 150 feet east of Pleasant Street, thence easterly on Route 101 is. It's Pleasant Street's over in Baldwinville.
Yeah, off the ball.
It's like, did somebody really miss on this one? Or- And again, this is so old, but it was one of those things that caught my eye. I was like, wait a minute, wrong side of.
It looked like it was done on one of those old fashioned typewriters.
It
you know?
was, yeah.
Eh,
Old fashioned typewriters. What are you, 21?
Yeah.
You used a typewriter. You're trying to skate out on that one.
I never took typing in school. I think
That's
it was required for like half a semester.
Okay.
FJDKSLA sent me that one.
That's awesome, Terry.
Oh,
Any further discussions, team?
We can set speed limits.
they have the parameters in here, recommended, required. You gotta get an ball bank
They're gonna be able to
indicator
read
with
it.
an inclinometer.
What's that?
They're gonna be able to review those.
Oh, yeah.
please.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
Where? At the station?
I don't know
Those are the ones they
I don't
have
know if
now
it goes
don't do
directly to the station. I think they have to go to the sign and download it.
They're gonna go to the sign
Yeah.
itself and then download it.
Yeah.
And then review it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know.
Mr. Chair,
And then that
I think it'll
data
be
gets,
in the mail.
that data goes to MassDOT and wherever else.
Right.
So it's not only kept locally, is how I understand this.
Right, I'm understanding that it's gonna go out to Mass. after they review.
Yeah, they gotta send a report to MassDOT
Mass.
every so often, so.
I noticed that the
Everything
MOU
recorded.
talks about future maintenance is our responsibility.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It also spells out, they give us a sign, but we're responsible to erect it.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rice.
I move to authorize the town administrator to sign the Mass Department of Transportation Rural Community Roadway Departure Memorandum.
And I'll second that motion.
and for the town administrator to sign the MOU. Right?
And she just reread
I
it.
just added what the name of the memorandum
Yep.
was. I just had to go from memory. I didn't have the right page open.
It's a mouthful.
There's a lot-
I was adding
That's why I
drama. It's such an,
seconded it.
right, it's such an awesome thing. I just wanted to add in the drama,
It's all good.
rural
It's all awesome.
roadway.
Mascot
Departure.
move.
Yeah. Memorandum.
Mascot move.
Did you get your second? You did.
There is a
Okay.
second.
I second.
Any further discussions, team? Second call, any further discussions? Hearing none, we'll bring this to a vote. Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Curry?
Yes,
I vote yes as well. Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
thanks, Bob.
Busy.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to recognize the department head that and let the public be aware as well that our highway superintendent is at every select board meeting, and I, for one, can say that I appreciate that. I appreciate seeing a department head at our meetings. Even if you're not on the agenda, you are usually in the room, so just a special thank you for that. I appreciate your dedication to the job.
Thank you,
You're
Bob.
welcome.
Great job.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, just I guess it's a point of order, from time to time, we check the comments on YouTube. I usually do that for you. I just wanted to let you know, I didn't chime in because it wasn't something that was happening right there. There was a question about MART refunds going to COA from Miss Gail Noel. I said I would forward the question to the town administrator, and then just another item added in the chat about recommending or asking for agenda items for old business. And I replied that agenda items are based on the TA and chair working to get items ready for discussion. In this case, they were still in research,
Thank you.
but I just wanted that to be it's already in the public record on the recording. I just wanted to let the rest of the board know.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And moving along, Mr. Curry, this is to you, a discussion about select board communication.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I got something prepared, just wanted to get my thoughts together, and I did not want to drone on. I wanted to make some sense. So can it be a discussion? Of course, but I just wanted to be able to get the following off, to basically open it up for a discussion. I said, in my 4+ years on the board, I've fielded many emails, phone calls, and direct inquiries into town matters and complaints. Most of my time on the board has been as chair, so I appreciate the necessity of discretion when it comes to choosing matters to come before the board, but I always endeavored to enlighten the board when possible, especially with direct complaints. And I'm sure you've had your share as chair, as the rest of us have received all kinds of emails.
Yep.
I have been off social media for a few years now, which is both refreshing and troubling because it is a major method of communication in 21st century America. However, it has not been established as a method for the public to submit official complaints or official queries. I would like to remind my colleagues in the community at large, really focusing on the community at large, that the board can be a powerful force of reason and change, but we can't operate in the blind or by hearsay. The most effective way to address community complaints and needs is by the established communication methods via our website, published phone lists, and of course, our regular public meetings. Social media is easy and quick, but it doesn't afford enough meaningful interaction to properly address public concerns. I'm not asking for a manifesto. All I'm asking for is communication that is reasonable and accessible. Our select board policies and the Mass Municipal Association Select Board Handbook. Jeff, what revision are we up to? I think 4.
What's that now?
The Select Board Handbook.
MMA
I think
Select
I went off of revision 4, but there's always revisions. There is a Select Board Handbook out there. These documents discuss these methods as best practices. The ones I was talking about. If we must use and trust social media as an official communication mode, I would ask that we all take the time to make the interaction known, attributed, and acknowledged, especially if the board is going to act in their official capacity and not just as a resident on social media. So I open that up for discussion. I hope my meaning is plain. It's just making sure that if people want to come, if people have something, they should come in, and everybody should have equal access and ask questions. And otherwise, if we do get social media interaction, let's, bring that to the table or say, this is where it came from, try and do some kind of attribution, because it's very easy with your thumbs to say, I don't like this, send, and it doesn't do anything. It's not, as I said in my little tirade, it's not meaningful to be able to consume information that way. So, as a board, but really, I think we do a really good job of that. What I would ask is the community understand it's difficult to try and communicate through social media.
Yep.
It's much better if we have meaningful conversations through public, from a equal access perspective of calling, sending an email, the contact forms off the website, or we haven't had a lot of public citizen input recently, and it's very easy to do. We're here twice a month. It's first thing, you get all the time that you need to. Mr. Chair, that's all I had.
Go ahead, Mr. Templeton.
So generally, if we receive correspondence, if we don't email it out to you, we put it into the select board read file. That's just generally how we handle. If there's somebody that's,
I appreciate that, and I come in and I read that file.
Mhm.
if that's how we handle it, that's appropriate to the board.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, I think meaningful conversation, if I'm aware that there are complaints, and I started out with, I got them before, but to bring them so we can all kind of access it
Got it.
together to say, hey, this is what we would recommend. Someone on the board will say, you know what, I'll go research that. But if we all know that, it's our own select board policies talk about, don't go on a field trip without the rest of the board knowing that you're going to go, go check out a junkyard, a field, a meeting or something like that. We all kind of have to have some kind of awareness, but we're also residents as well. We're residents, we're on social media or we're not on social media, and, you can act as residents and have those conversations. Again, I guess I'm not complaining. I'm just basically saying it's a reminder to have meaningful communications. Well, the dialogue's here, but the communication for it to get here is important.
So I have a question. And there's something that specifically came to me. So if I get an email about an issue, it would serve the board better if I didn't just keep it between Adam and I, but brought it in, read out the email. Remember when Noel Francis gave us some letters he wanted to share in the beginning, and now look, he's on advisory committee and doing a heck of a
Yeah.
job.
Mhm.
Like, if there's somebody that's a citizen that's interested in improving the safety of the town, if I bring that in and discuss, like, would I put it on an agenda? How would I?
You talk to the chair and the TA, and then TA and the chair. Sometimes the TA may say, oh, you weren't aware that we have this function in town that can accomplish that. So by working through the TA and the chair, you wind up not only potentially solving something, and we can mention it during a meeting, but if it becomes an agenda item because it's just, something that the board needs to consider, and yeah.
Some things are outdated and need to change, be updated. so-
Yeah, I would definitely urge you to
Any
check out.
conversation like that, any kind of complaint over the years, sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You
like
did
that.
not.
Whenever I would receive complaints, via email or whatnot over the years of being on this board, I would have a conversation with the TA. That's number one. Then I'm going to the chairman of the board and saying, look, I have a citizen that came asking about this or that. Do you feel it's relevant? Let's think about this one. Should we invite them in so that they can give their story? Not just to me, because I'm not the only one that's going to have an opinion or be able to help them fix it. It has to be the five of us in the end. So for the most part, whenever the complaints would come in, usually we ended up with residents coming in here and going on to an agenda and speaking. And again, prior to myself even running, I had a major concern. I did my homework for 2 years. I got my frustrations out and I got on an agenda. And then I realized how it all would go from there, and could figure out the town piece of that. And I agree with Mike that I came off of even just viewing
Mhm.
some social media in this town over the years because it's so derogatory. And I would get so frustrated because we put so much time and effort into our positions once we're
What we
elected to them,
accomplished. what we're
that I
gonna
would
bring
say to
forward.
people, just stop,
Mm.
call, get on the agenda.
Yep.
You are in a town that is welcoming you to a meeting every 2 weeks. And so we would push that for a couple of years. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
With a different board that, just be vocal, just come out and talk about it.
Mm.
And we should start to encourage that more. So again, I just don't look at a lot of that social media. I prefer not to.
Yeah,
That's my
it's
personal-
all like the discussion.
The discussion goes back and
is
forth and back.
valid. It's just, it happens very off the cuff and it's
Off
based
the
on
cuff.
hearsay. That's not, it's the information.
No fact.
Right. So
Involved
it's
in
not
it.
bad. It's just, if there is a legit complaint and you want to interact with the community,
This is the forum.
and as I said, I'm opening it up. It's just, we've got to be able to try and, if someone does want to communicate through us through social media, offer a little bit more than just, like a offhanded comment, and then you delete your account and then come back later with a new name. You know what I mean? Seriously, that's kind of my frustration with that, is because it becomes
Joke.
I'm borrowing from an author, Allison Krautman, The Epidemic of Facelessness. That's a thing that she wrote, and it's just, we don't want to contribute to that. We want residents to understand they can communicate with us and we're listening.
Win-win.
Yeah.
We like win-win here.
Yep.
Win-win. Keep people safe. Do good for the town. And how do you do that?
Yep.
Face to face.
Right at the end of February, there was a Mass Select Board Association, which is a subset of the Mass Municipal Association webinar specifically addressing communications, addressing, do you allow for a citizen input? Do you not? There were 180 plus or minus members attending. And it was interesting, about a third of the communities that were represented do not allow a citizen input on the agenda.
Yeah.
I think that is absolutely ludicrous, personally. But I do like the way we have ours set up and by our operating policy. You can come in, you can address it. We specify, we'll give you 2 minutes.
Right,
There-
we might cut you
One
down
community
time.
actually has a member of the board is the delegated timekeeper. Somebody steps up to the mic, somebody sits there with the watch going, okay, your time's up. There's no discussions, there's no deliberations. You thank them for the comments. You can ask a question if you need a clarification, but that's pretty much where it stops because it wasn't on the agenda and it's because of the way the OML was written. As far as, you get something, Terry, it's a great example. We have our read file. We're leaps and bounds ahead of other communities. If something like that comes in and if you think it's noteworthy, by all means, print it off, bring it in, 3-hole punch it, put it in our binder. We can all look at that.
Good.
I make it a
That's what I
point when
will
I
do
come in
then.
on the weekends to sign any outstanding warrants, et cetera, for bill paying, et cetera. I look through the binder.
I do too.
I'll sit there and spend another 3, 4, 5 minutes, making sure I'm comprehending all of it. And those are just, it's part of doing business. And, we definitely want to be doing business. And my final plug are our official forms of communications. We all have a feedback. We all have a contact your individuals. It's www.templetonma.gov, drill down to select board, drill down to our name, highlight, click, and it brings you up to the feedback form. So that's the start. But yeah, Mike, to your point, I agree. It would be nice to see the room filled with people that want to bring concerns, but with the understanding, we're not going to address them that night.
Right.
Just one, time constraints. Two, we need to do our research and be able to give you a reasonable answer.
Mhm.
And it's not social media, point, click, send, I'm done. No, because
And there's 5 of us,
there's 5 of us.
5
So
different.
some of this
angles.
does take a lot of research and
good point.
some behind the scenes work to get things done.
It's a good point. So like people in the community may have favorite, or like people, not favorite. People that they're comfortable going to.
Mhm.
And there's 5 of us, we all come from kind of different demographics or otherwise. So we may have a certain sector of the community that or demographic that wants to come to individual people. So again, that's a huge, powerful thing to be able to say, are we getting a full picture of the town? Or are we only going to get a subset of people that are, I'm angry about this. All right, what are you angry about? What did you see?
You're right.
Now, there was one community and I don't want to follow what they threw out there. It's like, hey, it works for them. God bless them. If you got an email, email that to the chair. The chair will address it and talk. No,
Yeah.
I don't need to micromanage that. Whoever's sitting as the chair doesn't need to micromanage that. That's what I said. We're leaps and bounds ahead. We have our read file by all means. Yeah.
We've been very open, whether
Citizens input was a really big thing at one point. It really was to get it on here. And I'm glad that it did go on there because it was just a reminder to our citizens that you are always welcome to come in and give us your input. And if you have a gripe, give it to us. And we're probably going to be able to chit chat about it
or write it down and
and-
do the research. Yeah.
and do the research and come back to us in 2 weeks, or we'll get back to you with your, with an answer to your concern. But you got to get them in the room. So getting, our town to do the citizens input was really a big thing for us a few years back. It really was.
So we have 7 people watching on the YouTube feed right now. That is consistent. So if I'm watching for comments or otherwise, it's usually anywhere between 5. If it went over 12, I'd be excited for TCTV, like more viewership. I don't know how many people watch the television or otherwise, but again, from the word getting out, we're here for you. Communicate to us, don't bury yourself down into, a gripe on a social media site.
And our TCTV is a godsend as well. Monday night, I had another obligation. I wanted to log in remotely and watch the EDIC meeting.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I was on another meeting for another organization I belong
Yeah.
to. But it was kind of cool because Tuesday morning, right after I was having my breakfast, I was able to put on channel 8 and gee, what was on? There was the EDIC meeting. It's like, this is great. I don't even have to go searching for it. It's right here.
It must be so nice to be retired.
Hey, I told Adam, you know what my treat is at the gym? I save my cardio to the end, and my treat is I don't listen to any music, but I get to watch a meeting while I'm doing my
There
cardio.
you go.
And pure social media, I thumbs up that.
But to your point though,
Right,
Julie,
right.
there's a lot of
Give it a
things I
heart.
do in much the same. I see the emails we occasionally get from Jeff at 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
2 o'clock,
I know.
3 o'clock in the morning. And there's times I don't hit reply to it, but it's like, I'm reading it. I'm up.
And they're funny, they're all legible, perfectly clear, no typos.
Good conversation. Thanks,
It was.
everybody.
Yeah, Mike,
Thank you.
well, I appreciate the input, because now I have a better, I have guidance to bring Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Safe travel.
Good night.
I have great guidance from a great team to bring forward something that was puzzling me.
Mhm.
And I like to be able to get things done for people, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Good discussion. Thank you, team. Brings us up to old business. An update regarding the CBDG. Try that again. An update regarding the CDBG application for FY 2022-2023.
See in your packet, the cover page, that page cover sheet signed by the chair, as well as all the letters of support. I just want to report to the board that, I believe it was Mike that wanted to get an update, on this one. And the application has been submitted, received a copy of that from Linda Friday, this past Friday. So we're good. Hopefully, just wait and see if we receive the 1.35 million.
They're
All
great,
these letters went out. These were all. the
It's part of the application. It's all electronic. as I understand.
great memos.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's that. So keep your fingers crossed and hopefully we get the award.
On wood.
Mm,
I will also share, I shared it Monday with Adam. There is some additional federal funding with a very short notice that I believe we have till the end of the month if we want to try to throw it in. But some of this can actually be aligned and applied to that. And these were where we kept hearing the terms shovel-ready project.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's where we're at, but during the MMA conference, Senator Warren, Senator Markey were alluding to the fact there was other money. And that was the takeaway I had from Senator Warren. If you have this and is ready to go, ask for it, let us help you. It's like, ooh, let's hold their feet to the fire.
And Matt Zeiler put that exact
Yep.
verbiage in his letter that he sent with our package, shovel ready.
Yep.
Project is shovel
That
ready.
is a term that they all understand. There's no doubt about that.
It was just nice to see all the support from, all the various departments.
yeah.
Very refreshing.
As well as the developer and.
And those are the kind of things that make the package a little more appealing, make it stand out. So again, a little bit of behind the scenes work, some time spent pays huge dividends on the other side.
And also, I believe, there's more letters than what was in your packet too. The fire chief wrote a letter as well as, I believe it was Bob Sozik. So there's a couple more outside of what's in your packet as well.
You were just saving trees.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. Well, I figured that there was enough
Right.
impact.
Yes, Mike, I was just saving trees. There you go, Adam. There's your response.
Right, he knows we're gonna get into the supplies discussions 2 Saturdays from now.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
Brings us up to item 7, board member and administrator comments and reports.
I would just like to follow up, I think it was a couple, 3 meetings ago. And I don't know if you sent it out and Rolodex was slipping, but I had asked if there was the financial management policy states that the accountant and the treasurer will do a cash flow forecast
For the fiscal
after the
years.
budget has been. And I was looking to see if there was one for 22 and fiscal 23. I just wanted to follow up on that because I know when Mike was chair, he made a point of saying he was going to keep track of, things that are brought up. And
Right.
so we follow up on things,
Yeah,
it doesn't get asked or talked about. And then like a lot of things,
yep,
we got
an action item roster, yep.
to, so I just,
Yeah, I sent an email. I'll follow up on that.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a reminder to residents, don't push your snow on the sidewalks and in the streets. It can be subject to a $50 fine. And the rec softball registration closes March 18th. And April 20th, this is the big one, at 6 p.m. The public is invited to attend a rec special meeting at the senior center, 6 p.m. April 20th, on the tree lighting frost parade. National Play Outside is August 5th, and everybody's welcome to attend this meeting and give their input and ideas on how to make these really happy and meaningful community events going forward.
When's that, Terry?
April 20th, 6 p.m. Senior Center. So I know somebody was interested in actually making an effort to beef up the parade this year. So if that person's listening, they're usually one of our regulars, April 20th, if you got time, April being the key word. And 6 p.m. at the Senior Center. And then don't forget about the softball registration. It closes on March 18th. So is that on our Facebook page? Is the registration out there?
I'll be on the Rex Facebook.
On the Rex Facebook page. That's all I have, Mr. Chair, and continued prayers for the war in Ukraine. It's awful, awful. Husbands and wives have to separate from each other, the elderly couples. One stays, one goes, and they're in the line of fire. The husband went because of health issues and the wife stayed behind, and the Russians were a mile away. It was sad, some sad stories.
Hey guys, EDIC had its kickoff meeting this past Monday. We've got Steve, Glenn Eaton, Liz Toth, and myself. Very good kickoff meeting. We're in this mode of reading, gathering the resources, and making sure that everybody's got that we're all on the same sheet of music. But we've kind of set the direction in terms of understanding, like, you know, Glenn's our chair and really wanted to be able to have a spend plan or an idea where we were going to spend the money that we do have allocated to us. Even had discussions to the point of, if we're not going to use it, potentially looking at putting in an investment, which you can with EDIC funds. So I just wanted to report we're often in the running, and we're starting to gather the resources necessary to be able to move forward.
Looking at some of those documents, they're a little bit deeper than the ESSER.
Oh, yeah.
Was.
Yeah, you know, I made the point, you know, I would refer to the master plan based on what we do in the select board. I would go and cherry pick the section that I need. I've never read it holistically like an entire document. And I think that's really important, that you get the essence of the master plan, not just pulling pieces out to say, you know, when we had our discussion about like town common, you know, those sorts of things. Sometimes you just got to do the research and go in and target and surgically pull out. But you really, in order to, I think, really get the essence of that, and it was the 2017 version of it, the last one that we accomplished, you got to understand it, because that's really your base document for how to move forward.
And I'll tell you that the chairman of that EDIC is well qualified for that position. I'm amazed at how knowledgeable and
We're glad, we're
well-rounded.
lucky to have them.
We are, yes, yeah, he's respectful. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
No, I have nothing tonight.
Adam?
Well, I think I've shared with all of you, I want to recognize Rich Curtis. He put in for a few grants. We just received word today that he was successful in receiving the funds. I believe it was 22,500 from Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency of grant funds coming to us, and all Templeton has our local portions 2,500. So that's some great news. You know, he's out there really pursuing those grants, and that's and also we received interest in the grant writer position. So that's some great news as well.
Yes.
So I'm very happy with some of the latest or updates, the latest
That's excellent because someone had asked about that in the chat and that was the only other thing I didn't address from the question. So they just wanted an update on that. So thanks for giving that.
So yeah, out there, please, if you're interested in the grant writer, do apply for, get it to us as soon as possible because looks like we'll be holding interviews. Holly, what are we looking at for the grant writer?
Interviews?
3?
Oh, for how many?
No, not how many, but next week or so,
I think next week.
next week or so. So please, if you're
Kind of
interested,
heads up on when that is.
yes. So that's all I got and, before you know, we'll be, discussing budget. So
That's awesome.
for that long Saturday.
We've been discussing budgets for a while
We have.
already, Adam. Every time we walk in your office, we're discussing.
No, I have a
budget.
tendency to.
Oh, and let me give you an update on that budget.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
Thanks, Julie.
Holly, anything to add?
Thank you.
Jackie? No? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, our next meeting would be the 18th, our budget meeting. 18th is a Saturday, and then our next business meeting is the 22nd. Does that sound correct?
We have a meeting also posted with the schools on the 15th.
Correct.
I see it.
Is that here or is that
That is
at
here.
the school? Because the school on their
So we
calendar
have
shows it
community.
in the library.
So the March 15th, we have posted for here.
Okay, 15, 18, 22.
So it's pretty.
It's
you're gonna have a lot.
tight, but yeah. This happened the last couple of years, so we're on track with where it goes.
We are in the St. Patrick's Day is on the 17th.
So we're wearing green to the 15th, did you say, or the 18th?
18th. Both.
Both.
Okay. we're-
18th is gonna be a long day.
Yep.
I actually have a leprechaun hat. Should I wear that?
So I just wanted to make a quick shout out to our DPW. This last storm kind of snuck in on us. It was, the numbers rolled backwards a bit. I know, go a few miles north of the New Hampshire border and they got the numbers that we were originally looking at. One of the noteworthy things that I saw throughout the day, the job they were doing clearing up the roads was like far beyond what we've seen at all this winter. And then I was actually interested in paying attention, the smaller trucks, parks and cemeteries and stuff were driving around and they were actually pushing back and cleaning everything up. It's been a few years since I've seen them actually get it down to bare pavement. It was like, wow, I was very impressed. So there was a lot of time and effort went forward. I know it knocked the stuffing out of our snow and ice budget, but we can't control Mother Nature. But I'm grateful. The team's doing a lot of wonderful things. Thank you. Keep it up. I appreciate it. By all means, certainly. And you guys all know how to get a hold of me if you need something. Or if I say I'm gonna do something and it drops off my radar, by all means, let me know. I've been trying to stay on top of it.
Mr. Chair,
And that's all I have. Mr. Price.
I move to adjourn the business meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Bring this right to the vote because there is no discussion. It's always in order. Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths.
Yes.
Ms. Richard.
Yes.
Mr. Currie.
Yes.
I vote yes